Day 3 in geometry, and today we are using a new tool. This is a compass. Everybody say compass.
Compass.
Compass. So, a compass, we're going to write that down. I'm going to write compass. C-O-M-P-A-S-S. This is a compass. And sometimes you probably heard me do this yesterday. I mix these up a lot. I accidentally call this a compass. It's not. This is the protractor. For some reason, I like to mix the names up. So I'm going to draw a little picture of a compass next to it. I'm just going to do like a little one of these. That's my compass. Okay. So a compass is basically a circle maker. It makes circles, and I'm going to show you how. When using a compass, it's going to be the easiest to use it if you have a nice clear space. So clear some space away from your notebook so that you can move your notebook around. You should be able to take your notebook and spin it in a circle. If you can't do this, you don't have enough space on your table and you need to move some stuff. And you'll understand why I tell you that here in a moment. Make sure you can do a little spin. Okay? Now, on your compass, there are two sides. One side is the point, and it's very sharp. And then the other side is the pencil. The point is where the most pressure should be. It's okay if you make a little hole in your paper. It happens. The pencil is what you're going to be writing with, obviously. So before we start, we're going to do a little trial of how to use this compass, and I want you guys to just explore with it. Start with your pencil this time and make a little dot kind of in the center of your page.
Where's the compass supposed to be at?
Where's the compass supposed to be at? That's a good question. It doesn't have to be anywhere specific just yet, but for now, something you'll notice, let me see if I can get this to focus. Focus. Okay, so it's really tough to see what I'm looking at here, but on this little, you see there's like a curve. There's a 0, 1, 2, 3, keep going, 4. The bigger you open this, the bigger your circle is going to be. I would start with it open up to maybe 1.5 or 2. Don't have it open too big. Another way to measure this is if you put the pointy part of the compass right on that dot you drew, and you lay down a ruler. I'm going to get my ruler. It's open about 1.5 inches. So what's interesting is however many you have it open on this dial you're looking at, like it says I'm open to 1.5. It gives me a length of 1.5 inches. If I were to open it up to, it's hard for you to see it on the camera, but it says 4. It should be 4 inches. That's kind of cool. About 4 inches. Yeah, so do it so that it's not going to take up your whole page. I would go around 1.5 or 2. You could go up to 3 maybe, but I'm going to start at about 1.5. Tricky to see it. Okay. And then I'm going to put the point on that dot. Does everybody have a dot and a point on the dot? So, whenever you are holding this, this is about how it is on my paper. I'm going to tilt my paper so you guys can see. I don't want to put all the pressure on the pencil because then this point is going to move. This needs to stay where it's at. This does not move. you put just a little bit of pressure on the pencil. And then instead of moving the compass, I'm going to turn my paper. I'm going to turn the notebook. So watch this.
Yeah.
Turn. Oh, see, look, I moved. I got to put it back on the die. Go back to it. And voila, a perfect circle. So everybody try that. See if you can make a circle. It's a little tricky. Look at you. Perfect. Beautiful. There you go. Okay, good, good. Now, I want you to just practice making a circle with this. Maybe practice doing one. I'm going to make it even smaller.
Oh, yeah.
This one is about, I brought it down to 1. So it'll be about 1 inch. And you can do it without turning your paper. Let me try it without turning. I'll do it. See, it's kind of tricky. I have to turn it a little. I think turning it helps. It's just really hard not to. So just practice making a bunch of circles. I want you guys to get comfortable using this. Because we're going to actually do some very technical things with this compass. And what we're going to be learning how to do after break today is something called constructions. So if you are somebody that one day wants to become a construction worker or an architect or somebody that designs buildings and, designs things, this is a tool that you're going to use every day, which is interesting. I'm going to make a circle over here.
You do with the 3, it's a lot better circle.
You think so?
Pretty big.
Okay, let's try my 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, there we go. Lots of circles. I love having a compass, and I took one home. I use it at home a lot for drawing things. Like if you ever need to have a perfect circle in a drawing, a compass is a great tool for that. It can be a creative tool. Let's move.
Thank you.
Just get comfortable. Yeah. Okay. Once you've drawn a couple circles, hold your notebook up so I can see that you've got it. Nice. Good. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Good. Good. Awesome. Hey, we're getting the hang of it. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So good. Good. Excellent. I love it. Okay. So, a compass is something that we can use to make perfect circles. It basically, once we give it a point, we are putting 1,000,000 points from the same distance away from that single point, which creates a circle. So we can call this our circle maker. It's a circle maker. And as a guide to maybe help look back on, we can remember your compass point goes in the center and the pencil goes where the edge of the circle is. So I'm going to draw a little compass on my paper. I'm going to try to anyway. Basically, I'm just going to do draw a line here. I'm going to put this would be the circle part of my compass. I'm going to put the point right there in the middle where the point goes. And then pencil would go here. That's not perfect, but something to maybe help me remember later. But that's how I do it. Point goes in the middle, pencil goes there.
That's cute. I don't like it.
Yeah. Point in the middle. Here. Go. And then the pencil draws the line. Or draws the circle. Now you don't have to draw that. So I don't know. Thought it would be cool. A little cute. A little cute little picture. Today's an artsy day.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna teach you. Let's see. It's 10:06. We definitely have time to do a couple of these. I'm gonna teach you one construction before I give you a break. One construction. So, can I turn this page? Is anybody still looking at this for any reason? Okay. So turn the page, and I am gonna write at the top here. Day 3 notes continued. And this is page 2. Okay. And we're still in unit 1. And the title of this page is going to be Constructions with a Compass. So, constructions, constructions. Constructions with And the first construction we are going to learn how to do is called a perpendicular bisector. I'm going to spell that. Perpendicular. 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 Bisector. Bisector. Perpendicular bisector. Geometry's got some crazy big words. So, first of all, does anybody know what perpendicular means? Or is it a word you've heard before? You've heard it? Some people have heard this word. Anybody know what that might mean?
It's an angle.
It is an angle. We are going to have a certain angle. Do we know what angle?
Right angle.
Say it again.
A right angle.
Actually, yes, a right angle. You're right, Charles. You're right. Perpendicular means 90-degree angle, a right angle. So perpendicular means we're making a 90-degree, and then I'm going to give you the symbol for angle. It's really simple. Just draw like a little angle and put an arc in it. 90-degree angle. That means angle, 90-degree angle. And then bisector. Anybody have an idea of what bisect might mean?
Something in the middle.
Something in the middle. Yes. It does have to do with being in the middle, in the center. Basically, we can think of it this way. The first part of this word bi, B-I, means 2. Sector is sections. You already knew that?
Yes, my circle.
That's awesome. So a bisector means we're splitting it into 2 equal sections right down the middle. So at a 90-degree angle. So 2 equal sections. Or 2 equal parts, pieces. And we are going to be splitting and creating a perpendicular bisector for a line segment. So on our paper, what we're going to do after we've written this title and what it means, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to go down the page at least 2 inches, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to go about 2 inches down. And I'm going to create, actually maybe a little higher, but I'm going to go right here so I'm not quite to the middle of my paper, go a little bit above. And I'm going to draw a line segment. And I don't want this line segment to be too big. I'm just going to make it about, put it about in the middle. Let's do 3 inches long. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then I need this line segment to have points on the end. Okay, so we have a line segment. And we are going to construct the perpendicular bisector. And there's steps that we follow to do this. First, we're going to take our compass and we're going to put the pointy end on one of the points. Okay. Now, we want to look at where our compass is opened up. And we need it to be open more than halfway. So if this is 3 inches, halfway would be about 1.5. So if I'm looking at the numbers here, I need to be open more than 1.5. I'm going to open up about 2-ish. And you can even do it just visually. Like I know that I'm open more than half the length of the line. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create, instead of a full circle, I'm just going to create kind of an arc. And what I mean by that is I'm going to kind of turn my page, keep the point on the point, and I'm going to go swoop, like that. Like that. Okay. So we're going to label that first step. Step 1. Step 1. Point goes here. And then you're making that arc. So step 1, again, all I did is I put the point here and I made an arc. About half of the circle there. Once I've done that, make sure that your compass is open the same size as step 1. If I accidentally opened it up again, go back and put it back on the point. Make it match. Make it the same. These have to be the same. Step 2 is we're going to put the point on the other end point. And what you could do here is you could make another whole arc, but all we really need is where the arcs are going to touch each other, where they intersect. So from here, I could do a big arc, or I could just make marks where they cross. See that? Marks where they cross, make sure your compass is open the same size as step 1. Go over to step 2 and mark the intersection. Okay, so I'm going to label this with step 2. Goes here. And we're going to mark intersection of first arc. Now, if you're wanting to color code these steps, like the arcs themselves, you can. You don't have to. I'm gonna do it like this. So you can see how it came from. And then step 2, I did this. Okay. And we're almost done. Now that we've created 2 intersections, these are points that we're going to go through. So let me grab a third color. I'm going to use a purple here, and I'm going to mark points at the intersections. And for step 3, we just take a straight edge and we draw a line that goes through those points, that goes through the intersection we just made. Look at that. And this makes a perfect 90-degree angle, and it splits our line segment perfectly in half. So step 3 is draw a line going through intersections from step 2. Cool.
Okay, I see.
So we can mark what we just did. Let me just walk through each step again, make sure we all understand. Step 1, we start with the point on a point. We make an arc. Keeping our compass open at the same size, we go to the other side. Mark intersections with that first arc, like that. Step 3, make a line that goes through those intersections. And there you go. Now, what do we have to label a 90-degree angle with?
Box.
Yeah, that little box. So, to show that we are done and we made a perpendicular bisector, a 90-degree angle, we need to put a box. And something else we can do, when we are saying that something is the same length in geometry, we use something called tick marks. We use tick marks to show that they are equal. Just like with angles, I was telling you yesterday, arcs are used to show, like one arc on these angles says they're equal. We're going to do one tick mark on each side to show these are now the same length. You see that? One tick mark to show that we did make 2 equal line segments. We split it in half, so these sides are equal. Oh. So we just did our first construction. And we're going to do some practice with this when we get back. But right now it is 10:20. So I am going to give you guys a 15-minute break here, which means we will come back at 10:35. 10:35, come back. We'll do some more practice. But feel free to take a break. I'll pause this. Okay, we are back from our break. It was more like a 20-minute break, but that's okay. We just learned how to do a perpendicular bisector. So we're gonna do it again. But this time, what I would like for y'all to do is whatever length your original line segment was, these inches again. I made mine 3 inches. Make another line a different size so you can practice opening your compass at a different size. So I think I'm going to actually draw 2 more lines down here. I'm going to do one that's really little. I'm going to do one that's like 1 inch. So a little one. And I'll do another one that's like 4 inches. Just to give myself something to practice. Oops, that is not straight.
How many inches was that first one?
1 inch, a little one, and then 4 inches. And we're just gonna practice doing that again, following those 3 steps. So for my 1 inch line segment, remember our compass starts with the point on a point, and we need to make sure that our compass is open, not so big that it's outside of our line segment, but not so small that whenever I do my next arc, I won't have any intersections. I'm going to open it a little bit more than halfway. So a little bit more than 1/2 inch. And I'm going to make my first arc. Oh my gosh, messed up. Okay.
Whoa,
So I'm going to turn my notebook. If you notice that your point moves while you're making your arc, stop and start over. Because if that first arc is not made correctly, your construction won't be correct. We want to be precise and careful. So if it takes a couple tries, that's okay. It's okay. I'm going to erase it and I'm going to do it one more time. Zoom in. So I can see my point goes on a point. And I'm going to make an arc.
How far did you say to open it?
It just has to be more than halfway. So if it's right at the middle,
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
No.
It needs to be a little bit bigger than halfway. It could be here. It could be almost to the end.
Well, now we're going.
Let me see, Diane.
I bet
yours is- That might be good. We might want to make it a little farther just in case.
What about this little guy?
As long as you have intersections to go through, then you're good. You're good. Now, let me show you real quick why it needs to be open that big. I'm going to erase this and I'm going to show you one more time. What if I do a little tiny arc and it's not big enough? So for my step 1, let's say I make my arc too small. So here it is. Here's my first arc.
Yeah.
This is too small. And here's why. Whenever I go to make my next arc, uh-oh.
So they gotta go through each
There's no intersection. They don't cross. We need them to be big enough that they overlap. They need to touch. Perfect. Perfect. So that's too small. They don't touch. We need to do it bigger. I'm going to make it a little bigger. So like there. There we go. So there's step 1. Step 2, make sure you do not close or open your compass. Don't change it anymore. Make it the same size as step 1. If you need to go back and check, do it. Then change the point and mark the intersections. You could just make a whole nother arc if you want, but you don't have to. You can just mark the parts where they cross. And now I have 2 points that I can go through. Point, point. And I'm going to take my ruler and trace through the intersections we made. Now, to show that I did it and to show that I'm done, I need 2 things. I need, what was it? My cheating? What is it?
They're married.
They're married. Yes. We need to show that this is a 90-degree angle. How do I do that? Box. And I need to show that these line segments are equal now. How do I do that? Yes, mark them on both sides. Tick marks. So you need to show the box and the tick marks. So I'm going to make a note. Don't I mean, that can really be step 4. Step 4. Don't forget
Okay, mark them.
the box and tick marks.
You have to put both of them?
You do need both, yes. You do need both. And the reason for that is because in geometry, we have special ways of, yes, it's annotating, kind of labeling things, rather than having to write out a sentence or something or writing out 90 degrees. These are equal. We just put tick mark box. And it's the symbols that you will see in, if you ever find like the plans to the house you live in, the blueprints, these are the same symbols that the construction people use when they construct actual buildings and stuff. So it's really interesting. They use this everywhere. So if you become an engineer one day, you'll already know this. Okay, so there was my little tiny perpendicular bisector, and now I'm going to do a great big one. Step 4 was don't forget the box and the tick marks.
Will you leave it there for a second?
Yes, yes. Now this next one's gonna get a little messy because it's so big, and I'm probably gonna go through my step 3 here, but that's fine.
We're gonna make her a line now.
Well, then that's fine. Yours might not be as messy. I just made it really long for a reason. See. So if this line is 4 inches, what is the smallest I can have this open?
Over 2 inches.
It's got to be over 2 inches. That's right. So you could either eyeball it or you could use a ruler. I could say, okay, it's 4 inches. That means I need it to be over the 2. And right here, it is over the 2. I could make it just a tiny bit farther if I just really want to be safe. And so from here, we make our first arc. I'm going to rotate my notebook. Make it a little bit easier on myself. Sometimes this is easier than trying to move your compass. Because these are a little finicky. Okay? So once I've done my first arc, what do I need to be careful about when going to make my second? What do I need to be careful about? That they actually overlap. What else? Concerning my compass, what needs to be the same? Yeah, the length. Before I go to the next one, and that's why it's good to have a compass that's a little tighter, because then it holds that length better. So I can go back and just double check when I'm on this point, my pencil better be touching the arc I made. If it's too big, your intersection is going to happen in the wrong spot. If it's too small, same thing. We want to make sure it's the same size as our first arc. Keep that size, flip it to the other point, and we'll mark the intersections. There we go. And I like to give myself points to go through. You don't have to do that, but you can. Now we just draw that line. Draw the line, and what else do I have to do?
Box and tick marks.
Box and tick marks. Thank you. Box, tick marks. There you go. That's it. You got it. Good. Okay. Before we do the second type of construction, do we have any questions about the perpendicular bisector? We're kind of sitting on this page. If anybody has, anything they want to share, maybe something that makes it easier for them, something they noticed is a really tricky part, I always love to hear your comments. Because odds are, whatever you're thinking, there's probably somebody else in the room that's thinking the same thing. Mhm.
I will say, I know we gotta make the box with tick marks, but the box is always gonna be a 90-degree angle.
Yes.
Put your
Yes.
one front, put the thing
Always.
about
Will it always be in that same spot, or do we have to do it, across from each other?
You know, that's a good question. Charles just asked, do we always need to put this box in the same spot, or does it need to be across? You could do it anywhere on any of these, because we kind of created 4 angles. There's an angle here, 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 and here.
Right.
As long as you put at least one box on any of those angles, I'll take it.
Okay.
This is just where I have a habit of putting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, good question.
I know you said it's all gonna be 90 degrees
Yeah.
like that one,
That's right.
but
That's a good connection that you made there.
Miss Taylor.
Yes.
If your line's 4 inches, where does your compass need to be?
Where does my compass need to be? It needs to be open bigger than 2 inches, so more than half.
And we do it for both circles that we start to make, so they will pass through.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Because if we were to do it at exactly half, the circles are just barely going to touch, just barely, because they're right at the half point. So to make it intersect, we need it bigger than half.
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay. Are we ready for the next construction? Okay, so I'm going to flip my page. And before I do that, real quick, does anybody need to see any of this still? Anyone still copying things? Okay, so flipping the page. And I'm going to title this, what is it? It's day 3. Day 3, no. Sorry. You're okay. Thanks, Kimmy. This is page 3 today. Still on unit 1. For unit 1, and we are continuing constructions. So construction. So the first construction we did was the perpendicular bisector. The second construction we're going to do called an angle bisector. I bet you can guess what we're going to do here. We're going to make an angle. And what do you think we're going to do with that angle based on the second word?
We're gonna say again.
There's going to be some kind of intersection, that's right. But remember, with the perpendicular bisector, we split the line in half. What are we going to do with the angle?
Keep it all together.
Put it all together.
Instead of splitting it in half.
We're going to split it in half.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're going to split the angle in half.
Gotcha.
So let's start by drawing an angle. You are going to need your protractor for this one. And you're going to need your compass again. But we'll start with our protractor. And I would like for us to create a 60-degree angle. And I'm going to show you how to do that. First, I am going to start with a point close to halfway down my page, about here. So I'm going to give myself a point, and this is going to be my vertex of my angle. And then I want to draw a line, bless you, about 3 or 4 inches long. And I'm just going to use my protractor for that. So about 3 or 4 inches, a little arrow on that. once you have this, we're going to take our protractor. And how do I line this up?
Put it on the dot.
Yeah, put it on the dot. There's a dot right above 3. And we want to line that up. We also want to line up the line that we just drew, or I guess this is technically a ray. We want to line up the ray with this line here on my protractor. Make sure it's all lined up nicely. Now, from here, I said I want to draw a 60-degree angle. So, what number am I looking for on my protractor? 60. Right here, 60 on the bottom. So here is 60. We're just going to make a little mark right below 60 as a guideline. And then I can take my protractor away. So I'll show again. You line it up. Make a little mark right by 60. Pull it away. And now I can connect these points. And I have a 60-degree angle. There we go. 60-degree angle. So let's see colors that I use here. Now, just like with our perpendicular bisector, our first step is to put the point of the compass on a point. The only point we have is the vertex. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that. And I'm going to write step 1. Point of compass goes here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make an arc inside of our angle, making sure that it crosses both of these rays, these lines. Make an arc. So that arc, this time we don't have to be as careful about if it's halfway or if it's more or less. I'm just going to make sure that my point is touching the vertex. And I am going to make an arc that goes through the inside of my angle, and that creates 2 intersections right here. See that? We made 2 intersections. And trace over that with me. That was step 1. Now step 2. Once you've got that step 1.
How far along did you go? 2?
How far what?
For this.
This time it's not as exact that you have to be. I have mine open up to about, it looks like 1.5, almost 2. But you can kind of eyeball this one just somewhere about halfway. Basically, if you make it too big, your next markings are going to end up going really far away from your angle. If you do it too small, it might make it a little tough to be close together. I like to be about in the middle for this one.
So would you say that's fine?
Oh yeah, that's perfect. So I'm just going to say roughly middle. Roughly in the middle of these. So now for step 2, we're going to use these 2 points. We just created 2 intersections. So I'm going to mark these intersections. And we're gonna call these 2 steps. We're gonna put them both in step 2. I'm gonna circle that, and step 2. Just gonna keep my compass. Bless you.
Thank you.
Let's make our compass go the point on this point. And we want it kind of like with a perpendicular bisector. It just needs to be more than halfway to the other point. So it could be about like this. It could be really big if you want. It just can't be really tiny because we're going to be making an arc here and here, just like the perpendicular bisector. So I'm going to make it open about this much, and on my compass, it's at 1 inch. So we're going to make an arc inside the angle like this. And it's okay if it's not touching this first arc. It's okay if it is touching. It doesn't have to, and it doesn't not have to. We're worried about how these next 2 are. So once you've made an arc there, now we go to this other point, and we just need to cross this, the second arc we made. Just like that. We just need 1 intersection right here. Okay, so for step 2, we made an arc here, and then we crossed it there.
Got it.
So step 2 is kind of both of these. So I'm going to say make 2 more arcs inside the angle. Compass should be open a little more than halfway to the other point. Okay. And step 3, look at this. We have a third intersection here. Step 3 is we are going to go from the vertex to that new point. Line from, I'm going to draw like a mini picture here. Draw a line from here to that X that we just made in the middle. So we'll use a straight edge, and we will connect from vertex to that middle intersection and draw a line. And look, we've split our angle perfectly in half. So we should have now like a 30-degree angle and another 30-degree angle. We could measure that to make sure we did it right. Yep. 30 degrees, another 30 degrees. Did it. Now, we could also mark at the very end here, just like we gave tick marks to the perpendicular bisector to show that those line segments were equal. We do want to show that these angles are equal. So we're going to put arcs inside We can do one arc on each, or I kind of like to do 2 arcs just so they stand out a little more. So this would be like step 4. This ended up really messy. No. So draw arcs to show angles are equal. I guess that would be step 4. Okay, and then we just did it. We did it. Not too bad. So, once you finish kind of creating your guide, I have some things we can practice with. Let's see. Yeah. Paper. I just had out this one. Well, until I get that paper out, I'll have you under here. Just draw 2 more angles, any size you want. You don't really have to measure them. You could just draw random sizes using some sort of straight edge like a ruler. And I want you to create the angle bisector for those other 2 angles. So I'm going to give myself, let's see, I'm going to zoom out a little here. I'm going to give myself a smaller one. Make this first line 2 inches. I'm just going to tilt it up and make it almost exactly 90 degrees. I guess on it. So there's an angle that I'll bisect. And then maybe we'll make, so we did an acute angle up here, an angle that's less than 90. This is, say, a 90-degree angle. I'm going to make an obtuse angle as well. Those can be a little trickier. So I'm going to go with another starting point here. And I'm going to make the other part of this angle going outward. That. So always good practice to try on different types of angles. Okay. As you're trying these, let me know if you're getting stuck on any of the steps or if you're having trouble with your compass. So I'm going to just go through these again. Before I kind of zoom in on these next 2 angles, does anybody still need to see this at the top? Yes? Okay. I'll wait a minute and let everybody still see this before we go to the next, and I'll pause this for a moment. All right. So I just made copies of this worksheet that has some little lines you can practice on, or line segments and angles, but I also gave out this. So I've said it a couple times as I was passing it out, but I'm looking at my notes and I feel like mine turned out a little messy. So I'm sure some of yours turned out a little messy. So I forgot that I had this. This is a guide to help you if you need to go back and see it done a little more neatly. But for your perpendicular bisector, it has all your steps written out. So like your step 1, I guess it's a little different, but it still is the same concept. It's showing you the line segment is there. Step 2, point goes here. And then instead of doing the whole arc, they just showed the 2 little spots, but it would be the same as if it were a whole arc. And then step 3, other side, but make the intersections. Step 4, draw the line through 90-degree tick marks. Then we look at our angle bisector. It's got the same things. So step 1, right here, you start on the point and then you create an arc. Step 2, it looks like they separated step 2 and 3 to make that X in the middle. You go to one of the points, you make a little mark, go to the other point, make another mark. Now you have an intersection, draw the line through, and then make your arc. So if this is easier for you to follow, use this. If not, you can use whatever you wrote. But I do want us to have more practice with the angle bisector. For some reason, every time I've taught these constructions, the angle bisector tends to give everyone a little bit more trouble. Maybe just because an angle has got more to it than just a line. So on your papers, after we've done this guide and this first example, let's go down to the second angle I had you guys draw. That should be about a 90-degree angle. Just so we have a different size to work with. And I'm looking at my guide. Step 1, point of compass goes here. Make an arc roughly in the middle. So point goes here. And this is kind of in the middle. Let's do it there. Maybe I'll make it a little smaller. And we'll make an arc. Okay, done. Made my arc. And once we make this arc, where should my point go next? One of the intersections, yeah. Doesn't matter which, does it? We're going to use both of them anyway. So I'm going to keep my compass about the same. And let's make intersection is where my point goes. And I need to make an arc in the middle here. So I'm going to do it like that. And now notice this time I made it smaller. On my first one, I went real big with it. I didn't really need any of this longer part. I just need it to intersect. So you'll start to be able to see where it needs to be. Yes, Candace. Say it one more time. How to do which part? This one here? Okay, let me put my thing back on the screen, or I can show you at your table. Let me know if this helps. Let me zoom out. Basically what we did is after we did that first arc, it gave us an intersection here. You follow that? Bless you. Okay, so this intersection is where our point is going to go now. So I'm going to line it up there. And just keep your compass open as big as it already is. And we are just going to make that arc here. Now you could also, sometimes moving the compass is tricky. It can be easier to move your paper instead. So if you're having trouble moving the compass, you can absolutely try moving the notebook. Did that help? Okay, good. Good. Okay, so now that I have that, where should I go next? The other intersection, yeah. So now I'm going to move my compass and put the point on the other intersection. Okay. Right here. And we want to touch that arc we just made. Like that. We just need to make it cross. Now you do want to make sure that this is the same size as the next one. And it is. It's the same. You can measure by touching your arcs again, or you can just look at where it's touching on here. Like right here, it looks like it's hard to tell. It's right at 1 for me. Hard to see on the camera, but it's right at 1. And now what do I do? Draw your line. We just go from the vertex to that intersection. Vertex through the intersection. So I take my ruler or any straight edge and I'm going to trace a line through there. And we should have split our angle in half. There we go. Looks pretty good. Now, how can I show that these are equal? Arcs. I'm going to put an arc here and an arc there. You could just do one arc. You could do 2. You could do 10. It's up to you. I'll just leave it with 1 that time. Run through the process one more time quickly. Again, we start on the vertex, make an arc. Once we make that first arc, now we have 2 intersections. That's where the point goes. Or here, arc, next intersection, arc. Draw your line from vertex to that X in the middle. Here we go. Any questions about that? Yes.
On the arc part, do we just do 1 or do we double it up?
You can choose as long as they have the same number. So if I do 2 arcs on one of my angles, I got to do 2 arcs on the other. Just like here, I chose to do 2 arcs, so they both need 2 arcs to show they're the same. This time I just did 1 arc, so they both have 1 arc to show they're the same. Okay, let's do this last one. I made a big angle now. Okay. One last angle. I'm going to do my obtuse angle, my big one. And where does my point go first? In the middle. What's that called? Anybody remember? Vertex. The vertex, the point of the V of my angle. So I'm going to put the point here on the vertex. And let's just make an arc. Going through. I'm going to turn my page this time. Yeah. There we go. Great big arc. Number 2.
Say that out loud.
Oh my goodness. Crack me up. Okay, so we have our first arc. What next? Yeah, we've got some points that we just created, some intersections. If marking those points helps, do it. And so now take the point and go on one of those. And sometimes this little marking that we're about to make, the next arc, is going to end up in a different spot. And that's okay. So watch this. If I keep my compass the same, I'm going to make an arc like that. And let's shift speed. Now I keep it the same again. I go back and, oh, there's my X. This time it's a little bit closer to that first arc. That's fine. It just depends how big you open your compass. Like if I make it bigger, watch this. I'm going to open it bigger. I can do the same thing. There is an arc. Go to the other point, keep it the same size. There it is again. Now it's farther away. But what you're going to notice is when you connect the dots at the end, it's going to go through both of those. See that? It lines up. So it doesn't matter how big or small you have it. It's just the bigger you do it, the farther away it's going to be. And you need to make sure it's the same size on both sides. If I decide it's bigger here, it needs to also be bigger there.
Okay.
Bigger here, bigger there. If I keep it small here, I gotta do it small there. Either way, it's fine. Just keep it consistent. And I'm going to go through. There we go. There we go. And it looks like it did it. Split it in half.
Well,
So to show they're equal, first of all, like I'm looking at my board from where I'm sitting, and because of the angle of the board, it makes it look like those are not equal at all. But I'm going to show you with this. If I were to measure my first angle, it looks like it's a little bit less than 60 degrees. Then I'm going to turn this and put the end here. And again, it's a little bit less than 60 degrees. So it's not perfect, but it's very close.
yeah.
Very close.
Yeah.
So how do I mark that these are the same? Yeah, your little notchy things. What are those called?
There's. Yeah.
Arc.
Yeah.
That's okay. So this time just for different, I did 2 on the first one, I did 1 on the second. I'll do 3 this time, just for fun. 1, 2. Here we go.
Oh, you call those arcs?
Yeah, these are arcs. Arcs. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Y'all ready for your exit ticket?
Everybody
I know, it's almost lunchtime. Okay. You guys are doing great. Really hanging in there for me. I appreciate it. For your exit ticket today, you see this worksheet I gave you? You don't have to do all of them, okay? Your exit ticket, I want you to pick 1 line and 1 angle, okay? So pick 1 line to do a perpendicular bisector and pick 1 angle. You only have to do 2 total. That's your exit ticket today. So you can write on the top, day 3, exit ticket.
Do we get extra credit
If you already did it, then great. You can turn it in. Go ahead, what were you saying?
I said, do you get extra credit if you just worked ahead and did all of them?
Oh, well look at you. Okay. I'll tell you this, we do get some extra credit in this class. That happens on quiz days though.
Okay.
If you did extra for fun this time, then you are just going to be really good at this when you take a quiz. You're helping yourself. So just pick 1 from each section. Pick 1 line. Pick 1 angle.
Okay.
Once you've done 1 of each, you are done. You don't have to do all 6, just 2 total. Okay. So this is your last exit ticket this week. I don't give exit tickets on Thursdays. I try to let those be kind of our catch up and review days. Please do still come tomorrow because attendance points are still a thing. Of course, if you cannot be here at any point, just let me know. But that is all today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.